Soosie, the Horse That Saved Shabbat, by Tami, Lehman-Wilzig, illustrated by Menahem, Halberstadt.
And the publisher sent me this.
The publisher did send us this. It is published by Kalaniot Books, and the copyright is 2021, and we're reading from an ARC copy, an advanced reader copy. Kalaniot Books. Soosie, the Horse That Saved Shabbat. Long ago, Jerusalem was a tiny town of narrow cobblestone streets and low stone houses. A bakery stood in the middle of town. It had 2 large open windows, letting the aroma of freshly baked goods waft in and out of the surrounding homes. Every Friday morning, when the sky was still dark, it's medium to long, but let me read. Every Friday morning, when the sky was still dark and the stars still bright, the bakery's elderly owners, Esther and Ezra, got out of bed and slowly walked to the bakery. Ezra lit the large oven. Then they mixed and kneaded the dough. This man's name is Ezra, his first name. When the dough was ready, they braided one challah after another. After lining up the loaves on a large baking pad, Ezra slid them into the oven. By the time the sun had came up, the couple had baked enough challah for all the families in Jerusalem to bless and eat at their Shabbat dinners.
What's Shabbat dinner?
Shabbat dinner, the holy day of the week for Jewish people, starts Friday night and goes into Saturday. So at Friday night, you have a family dinner in which you take the time to start resting and be with each other, and you do a blessing over the bread, over a loaf of bread. Jacob, their delivery boy, always arrived soon after. This young boy is Jacob. He filled the wagon with challah. Well, this is our first story with Jacob, so we know he is supposed to come and deliver the bread. Next, he led Esther and Ezra's beloved horse, Soosie, out of her stall. He gave her a big hug, whispered in her ear, and hitched her to the wagon. Climbing into the driver's seat, Jacob clicked his tongue 3 times. Soosie nodded her head up and down, neighed back 3 times. Then she swished her tail, and the 2 were on their way. Kind of like you saying, walk on. He clicks 3 times. Clip, clop, clip, clop. Soosie's hooves echoed on the cobblestones of Jerusalem Road. With another click of his tongue, Jacob signaled Soosie to stop so the families could buy their loaves of challah. It's a type of bread. Yum, the people murmured, holding the loaves close to their hearts. Our day of rest would not be complete without Esther and Ezra's challah. Quick clang, coins dropped into a tin bank as each family paid. Shabbat shalom, everyone called out as they went back to their houses. Jacob clicked his tongue 3 times. Soosie nodded her head up and down, neighing back 3 times. She swished her tail and headed for the next stop. Clip, clop, Jacob guided Soosie onto Zion Street. The wagon came to a stop. It's another street. Cling, clang went the coins as they were dropped into the tin bank.
It's like
Shabbat shalom, the people called out as Jacob clicked his tongue 3 times. Soosie neighed back 3 times, swished her tail, and headed for the next stop. Clip, clop, clip, clop. Soosie walked slowly up the steep hill on Hillel Street. People watched and clapped when the wagon reached the top. Clink, clang, clink, clang went the coins as they were dropped into the tin bank. Shabbat Shalom, the people called out, watching Jacob feed a tired Soosie some apple slices. Soosie munched while Jacob jumped up into the driver's seat. He clicked his tongue 3 times. Soosie neighed back 3 times, swished her tail, and headed for the next stop. Their delivery route continued with the left turn, a right turn, a clip and a clop, a clink and a clang, till the entire town had challah for Shabbat. And so it went week after week, month after month, until one Friday morning Jacob came to the bakery looking sick. "You should be in bed," exclaimed Esther. "After the deliveries," answered Jacob, sitting down holding his head. "Esther is right, you aren't well," said Ezra, bringing Jacob a glass of water. Slowly sipping, Jacob replied, "I'll do the deliveries. I know you can't. I know you are tired and achy." "You can barely talk," replied Ezra, swaying and praying for a solution as their large clock tick-tocked the time away. Meanwhile, the scent of Shabbat challah filled the bakery. It floated out the windows to Soosie's stall. Soosie's nostrils fluttered. The smell grew stronger, so she snorted. Finally, she neighed and stomped her hoofs. Soosie is the horse. After all, it was Friday morning. When Jacob heard Soosie, his pale face suddenly lit up. "Soosie knows the way," he announced. "Soosie can deliver the challah by herself." "Soosie?" asked a bewildered Esther and Ezra. "Yes, she can do it," insisted Jacob. With great hesitation, they loaded the wagon. Esther sighed and Ezra shrugged as he put the tin bank on the driver's seat and placed a large note underneath it. "Jacob is sick today. Please take your challah loaves and drop your money into the bank. Shabbat Shalom." Ezra hitched Soosie to the wagon. Jacob whispered into Soosie's ear. She nodded her head. Jacob clicked his tongue 3 times. Soosie answered with 3 neighs. Then she swished her tail and went on her way. Clip, clop went Soosie's hoofs. The people at the first stop fidgeted. "You're late," they started to say, but stopped when they realized Soosie was on her own. They read the note and passed it around. Clink, clang went the coins as they dropped into the tin bank. Once the people called out, "Shabbat Shalom," Soosie neighed, swished her tail, and headed for the next stop.
What kind of horse?
She looks like a chestnut horse, kind of a little bit of an orangey brown. Back at the bakery, Esther and Ezra anxiously waited for Soosie to return, while Jacob slept near her stall. When 2 hours passed, they cupped their ears, hoping to hear the sound of Soosie's hoofs. "Maybe Soosie forgot the route," said Esther. "Maybe she hurt a leg. Maybe the wagon broke down." So here's Old Jerusalem. Here's a camel that's loaded by someone's establishment. an old-fashioned car, palm trees. 3 hours passed. Esther and Ezra strained their necks looking up and down the street, but no Soosie. Finally they heard clip, clop, clip, clop, clip, clop. A tired Soosie entered the bakery's backyard, swished her tail, yawned, and bowed her head. The wagon was empty. The tin bank was full. Just a little tin where people put their money to collect it together. But it's not shaped like a piggy. It's just shaped like a square tin that someone put a hole in for money. Esther stroked Soosie's mane. Ezra released Soosie from the harness, brought her a bowl of water and a scoop of grain. Soosie whinnied, then clip-clopped to her stall, softly licking Jacob's ear on her way. He opened his eyes and smiled. "You've earned your day of rest," Ezra whispered. With a snoozy snort, Soosie closed her eyes. "Shabbat shalom," said Esther softly, as she and Ezra tiptoed back to the bakery. And the author has some notes in the back about what is Shabbat and celebrating Shabbat and Shabbat blessings. So this has been Soosie, the horse that saved Shabbat. I'm Rachel's mom, and thank you for listening.